Before we discuss how an operating system work, let's try to review the basic functions of any computer. So a computer's functions and features can be broken down into the three basic tasks. And the tasks are input, processing, and output. And as you can see in this figure, okay, we have here the um, software, the two systems of the application software, which the application softwares are computer centric. Okay, that these softwares, word processor and spreadsheet will help the user to perform a specific task. And these application softwares will not work without running the operating system first, of course. As you turn on your computer, the operating system will start. And this serves as an interface between the application software and the hardware components of the computer system. Programming instructions to computer hardware. And this forms a layer of programming code on which most other functions of the computer are built. It's a specialized computer program that provides the interface or user interface, the file system, processes and services, and the kernel, in which the kernel is the heart of the operating system and runs with the highest priority. Okay? The kernel will schedule processes to run, making sure high priority processes are taken care of first. It manages memory to ensure that two applications don't attempt to use the same memory space and will make the IO devices be accessed by only one process at a time, in addition to the kernel's task. And there are two types of operating systems which will be covered in this module, and these are the desktop operating systems and the server operating system. The desktop operating system or client operating systems is typically installed on a personal computer or PC that is used by one person at a time and is almost always connected to a network, either wired or wirelessly. The hardware used with a client OS can be in several forms like full desktop computer, the portable or laptop, combination of iMac computer, which is used as a monitor, and CPU are in one unit with a separate keyboard and mouse. And another category is often referred to as the two-in-one, in which it consists of a large tablet computer such as the iPad Pro or the Microsoft Surface, along with a detachable keyboard. Now, this server operating system is usually installed on a more powerful computer that typically has a wired connection to a network and can act as many roles to enable multiple users to access information such as email, files, and software. The server hardware can also take different forms, including the traditional server, the rack mounted server hardware, and the blade servers. The traditional server, often used by small or medium sized businesses, which consist of a monitor, the CPU box, keyboard, and the mouse. The rack mounted server are CPU boxes mounted in racks that can hold multiple servers, where each rack mounted server typically has its own power cord and network connection, but these servers often share one monitor and pointing device. And depending on the height of the rack and the height of the servers, one rack can hold like a few servers or several dozen. The third one, which is the blade server, conserve even more space than rack mounted servers. And each blade server typically looks like a card that fits into the blade enclosure. The blade enclosure is a large box with a backplane that contains slots for blade servers. The box provides cooling fans, the electrical power, connection to a shared monitor and printing device, and even network connectivity, depending on the blade enclosure. A single blade enclosure can house over like 100 blade servers. And medium sized and large organizations use rack mounted and blade servers to help conserve space and to consolidate server management. Now, modern desktop and server operating systems are designed to enable network communications so that the operating systems can communicate with one another over a network through the wireless communications and through the internet. And network communications enable sharing files and sharing printers and as well as the sharing of emails. Now, one of the most basic tasks of an operating system is to take care of the input or output functions, which let other programs communicate with the computer hardware. The I/O functions take requests from the software that the user runs, is the application software, and translate them into low-level requests that the hardware can understand and carry out. So in general, an operating system serves as an interface between the application software and hardware, and that is shown in this figure. And operating system perform the input or output tasks. Like the first one is it will handle input from the keyboard, from the mouse, and other input devices. It will also handle output to the monitor and printer. It will manage the network communication such as for the local network and the internet. It will control input or output for devices such as the network interface cards. It controls information storage and retrieval using various types of storage media such as the hard drives, flash drives, and DVDs, and enable multimedia use for voice and video composition or reproduction such as recording video from a camera or playing music through speakers. Now, as short history of operating systems, in which initially computers were used as a large automated calculations to or calculators used for calculations to solve all sorts of mathematical and statistical problems.